So, Superman, we've seen it today. It's just come out in cinemas. We're going to tell you our thoughts. We are completely different in terms of just our point of view, our perspective, and what we get out of, comic book movies.
Yeah, no, I definitely follow the genre a lot more than you.
Yeah.
No, for sure.
Yeah. So you're definitely a lot more knowledgeable on just the lore of Superman in itself. But I wanted to give this a go. I wanted to give it, good grace because I can see it from an objective point of view and see that it works for a hell of a lot of people. And Superman. It was fine. It was, it wasn't terrible or anything. There was definitely a lot of talent in it. That's sort of what intrigued me. James Gunn, you can see, and I definitely need to go back to some of his older films like Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, no, love the Guardians trilogy.
Yeah, like just the soundtrack alone. I remember I used to listen to the soundtrack. Like I had it saved on my Spotify because it's that good. So that alone, and I'm bouncing back and forth on whether I actually enjoy his style though. It's weird. Like I really respect it and I like how it definitely stands out and it's different and it's unique. But I'm trying to figure out whether I even dig it too much.
I mean, you should actually watch his first film, Sliver, which is a horror.
Is it he actually did a horror film?
Yeah.
So he only did one horror film?
Well, before that, he wrote the remake of Dawn of the Dead for Zack Snyder.
Like 2004?
Yeah, 2004. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So they've worked on things together in the past. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and we're definitely going to bring up Snyder in this review.
There's a lot to discuss there. Yeah, what did you think?
So I had quite high expectations for this just because I'm a very big James Gunn fan. I think he's one of the directors that you can trust when it comes to superhero films and just generally genre films. I would say he's always going to put a fresh spin on it. And whilst I did like the film, and it's been very divisive, and I can completely see why. Wasn't perfect. I found it messy, especially the first half. I don't know if you felt that, quite sluggish.
Yeah, I wouldn't say in particular. I just felt the whole thing was messy. But I feel like that's just an inherent trait that I find in these movies. They don't really have much of the narrative thread. It's kind of just all over the place. It feels like just a collection of scenes rather than something that all kind of culminates together in something that's like a story, And I feel that's why I've always struggled with these sort of superhero films because they just seem like sequences.
Yeah. No, I didn't find that personally, but I can see why, especially because, as is often the case with a lot of the first films of a superhero franchise or any franchise, they're trying to do a lot. And I think that was one of my issues, unfortunately. He tried to do maybe a little too much because he's trying to set up a new era of the DC EU. This is meant to be the launching pad, the starting point for it all. And maybe a few too many characters, despite the fact that, I enjoyed a lot of those characters.
Yeah.
Watch, maybe a few too many.
Who was the standout actors, would you say?
So I think David Corenswet knocked out of the park. To me, that is Superman. And I remember before this came out, when we discussed the trailer, I'm not big on Snyder's take because I just said that doesn't feel like Superman to me. David Corenswet, that's who I would imagine Superman to be, from reading a lot of the comics and in a modern context.
What would you say about
he killed it.
People who have said that he's very soppy and he's crying a lot and stuff?
I think that's a load of bollocks.
That's been a huge complaint about this movie.
No, but I think it's ridiculous just because they're showing that he's he's not even a flawed character. It's just he's a
human being.
He's human.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And I think not all the criticism, but that maybe comes from quite a few people who really like Snyder's version. And Snyder's Superman was quite emotionless.
Yeah.
And didn't really, show much empathy, for anyone. I mean, that's what I found anyway. Just not much compassion, or at least wasn't presented that way. So I think that complaint is complete nonsense. Yeah, I think that made it more interesting and engaging.
Yeah, I think it's just these critics and journalists who just kind of like to ride on that wave of just we need more disciplined male figures in our films.
No, fuck emotional vulnerability. We can't be having that. Fuck that.
I would be the first person to say, and I think you would as well, if you recognize that in a movie, to call that sort of shit out. To be look, this is over, what would you say, emotionalizing this character for the sake of, you know, pandering to a certain, and that you do see that a lot in movies these days, and I feel like they're riding on that wave. I didn't recognize that personally, and I also did not find it woke at all.
And then I also thought like Nicholas Hoult.
Oh, he was probably the best in it for me personally.
I mean, a lot of people said he was born to play that part. I completely agree.
Yeah,
he's just such a great like dickhead.
His face, he's got so much on his face constantly.
And again, that is like probably the best Lex Luthor that we've gotten since Gene Hackman.
Bloody hell.
Because Lex Luthor is meant to be this like petty, whiny little shit. Like it's just his motivations. He's kind of like a child.
Right.
He's just jealous of Superman's like inherent kindness and goodness. And
see, that makes a lot more sense. He definitely nailed it. Yeah.
Trade that perfectly, and I think that was one of the strengths of the film. Like a lot of the character work was pretty solid. I mean, like I wish Rachel Brosnahan had a little more to do.
Yeah, she was just kind of there.
She was kind of there, which is a shame because she's a terrific like actress. But overall, like the performances were like great. But I mean, I think the strangest one was probably the whole Jimmy Olsen thing. I know you had a
what the hell was that all about?
With him and like Lex Luthor's girl.
Yeah, this isn't really a spoiler, but there's this male character who just has this female character obsessed with him throughout the whole movie.
It's Jimmy. I know you didn't remember his name, but
Jimmy is it?
Jimmy.
Is he like is he a
he's like one of the original like Superman.
Okay.
Daily Planet. Yeah.
Why the hell was she so obsessed with him? I don't understand. Like throughout the whole movie, I was like, after the movie, I was like, I just wanted to point out, by the way, which is what it just made me laugh, and it is related to what I'm going to say afterwards as well. There was an old lady in the cinema all by herself.
Yeah.
She was like 78 years old. She looked really old, and she was just at the back all by herself, like watching it all seriously and stuff.
Yeah, but maybe, you know...
That's so fucking random.
This was the bright spot of her day. I mean, it's a very strange way to spend your Wednesday afternoon, but like...
That's just such a random film.
That's what she wants to do.
For an old lady to sit and watch, like... I don't know.
Let's call her like Doris.
Doris. I felt like going to meet her afterwards and be like, Doris, did you enjoy that? Because to me, what I always think about these movies is that they're kids' films. They're really, really inherently. I mean, they don't have to be. Like you could say for Snyder, he had his problems, but he tried to make it more dark. And it's definitely as a big divide in the conversation there because a lot of people really dig that side of it. And I don't know. Maybe I'll have to watch the Snyder ones and see if I enjoy them more. But yeah, that's the problem with it. I just felt like, why do superhero films have to be so silly and unserious? Like, you've got to admit, it's not a serious movie. It's like... Maybe the themes are serious.
Yeah.
You know, inherently it has archetypes that are serious, but the presentation of it is just so
maybe not serious, like complex.
Yeah.
At the the inherent core of the Superman character, there's a lot you can do. It's a very complex character.
Oh, for sure.
Lex Luthor as well, but. Yeah, is it silly? Sure, but I didn't mind that because after like the Snyderverse, I feel like this is what we were needed.
Yeah.
And yes, this goes back to the very first like interpretation of Superman, you know, back when he was first created, but you know, it was a more kind of like light, you know, it was more of a light-hearted tone.
Right.
And I think in doing that, I didn't really mind so much because it's also inherent with James Gunn's style. You know, his style is very zany. He makes these very wacky, weird characters, but he's still able to imbue it with quite a lot of like heart and depth.
Yeah, I think it's just about creating a fun time. I think that's exactly his motivation.
I can also yes, it is a bit silly. You know,
just like the cracking of jokes and stuff like that. And sometimes they land, sometimes they're okay.
Yeah,
and it's just the kind of, you know, there's a lot of stakes in this movie, and yet it seemed to me like a lot of the times see, this is just my analytical brain working. I really wish that I could switch it off. Like, I could wish that I could just sit back and enjoy it for what it was, but I just can't help but think in these sort of movies, and that's why I have an issue with superhero films. And I just do think that there could be a film that exists out there, and this is just what I would like to see personally, that just takes the themes and the archetypes more seriously and takes the whole story more seriously.
Well, I will stop you there. The Dark Knight, but you weren't sure about that. There's the Nolan films. Matt Reeves, the Batman. You know,
people are gonna hate me for this, but I didn't even really like the Dark Knight. And the Dark Knight is one of the highest rated movies of all time.
Right? No, get out. Fuck off. You don't like the Dark Knight.
I wish I did like the Dark Knight.
Yeah.
I went back to it many times, being like, God, I really wish I could like this. So. So yeah, maybe I don't know what the hell I want. But
wait, mate, Jimmy, we didn't finish talking about Jimmy.
Jimmy,
that plot point.
What the fuck was that all about? Like I was gonna ask you. I was like, surely there's a reason for that, right?
No, well, look. So Jimmy, he just has like this infinite game and infinite riz, and it's also like it was just a plot device. I think there's no more to it.
But she's so hot. Why would a girl like that be obsessed with him? And why did he want to?
I don't know what your name is, but
she's fit.
You are beautiful,
and he's average looking. And I just felt like
for the comedy, man.
So it's just for the comedy. Yeah. I don't know. That just seemed a bit dumb.
The lols.
It just seemed dumb. That wouldn't happen in real life. Like, but why would I? Why would I be thinking like that?
Yeah.
Like it's a superhero film.
And even though you're obviously not as like versed in like the lore or in like just the superhero genre.
Yeah.
Do you think? Okay, let's say this is what your first time hearing of Superman. Do you think this is how you would imagine him in a modern context? Because that's why I felt it did successfully. That was my hope before we watched it.
Yeah, it definitely fits.
To Snyder,
it kind of fits into like the world around.
Yeah.
It makes sense. It reflects the times, and it's set out to do a bunch of things, and it kind of does do them.
And that's why I still liked it, despite the fact it was messy. It was very messy.
Do you feel like there's like there's just a constant reoccurring theme of like multiverses and stuff in films these days? You know, like that was never usually the case, was it?
No. I think throughout the last few years, since like 2020, it has definitely become a bit of a bit of an issue within modern storytelling.
Sort of things everything everywhere all at once.
Everything. Well, not just that. Spider-Man. I mean, the prime one that people talk about is Spider-Man: No Way Home.
Yeah.
But actually, I think in No Way Home, it was used quite effectively. They used it for nostalgia, but also if you love Spider-Man as well, it actually connected to the story. So that is an example where I think it worked. But yeah, I think. It's kind of dying down, but definitely over the past 2-3 years.
Yeah.
The multiverse has been kind of becoming used in a way that's not really like beneficial to the story. It's more just there. Like in a corporate sense. Oh yeah, how can we continue these franchises? Oh, we have a multiverse. And
exactly.
Yeah, and it doesn't always.
I'm getting a bit tired of it.
So no, it has become a problem.
Yeah, I'm getting a bit sick of it personally. You just see it so much, and that was another thing that was annoying me. Also, we got to talk about the dog.
Oh yeah, Crypto. No,
yeah,
I love Crypto.
A lot of people were moaning about how annoying the dog was. I didn't think that was an issue.
Also, it's from the comics as well.
Yeah, so
Crypto's in the comics.
No, that didn't bother me.
Yeah, but that's also why it felt like a true Superman film, because I feel like someone like Snyder, he wouldn't have embraced something like Crypto because it's a bit silly.
Yeah.
But that's why James Gunn, of course, he's going to do that because of his previous work. He embraces the zany, like the wacky.
How would you compare it to Christopher Reeve film?
Christopher Reeve. Well, Christopher Reeve is very much it's a product of its time. I think the Christopher Reeve films, if you know your Superman lore, that's still like, that is the like cinematic interpretation of the character.
Right.
But I think, this probably has a bit more to it, but then also like it's because it's our age that we're living in, we're younger. Yeah. So I probably would lean towards this, but I mean, Christopher Reeve is still like...
Yeah, the main one. A standout scene for me was, that scene with Rachel Brosnahan and Mr. Terrific?
Yeah, Mr. Terrific.
Where he traps her in this dome and he's like fighting all
Are you talking about the little like
with the music
with the tents and the camp?
Yeah.
Yes, that I was going to mention that scene. I love that scene.
That was a standout scene.
Oh,
that's
for
like
sure.
Okay, I can see James Gunn.
Yeah, no,
and
that's
fun
very
there.
James Gunn. Like if you ever end up watching Guardians, there's a ton of like actions and the Suicide Squad.
Yeah, I can enjoy shit like that.
Yeah, and he's always great with the needle drops, man. He's so good.
Yeah,
he's so good. But no, that was a really terrific scene. And actually, another aspect I really liked, and this is quite controversial, is how they changed his like origin.
Yeah, so we're going into spoiler territory here.
So like with his parents and like the Kryptonian people, in most adaptations, it's shown that Superman has just been sent to Earth to protect the people. He's like a messiah, blah blah blah. He's there to do good. But then in this one, it turns out, yes, maybe they wanted him to help people, but they also want him to conquer and rule. And people are very pissed off about that.
Yeah, because they're changing it around.
It's a change. Yeah, it's a change. But I didn't mind it because I think it actually added to like the moral complexities of his character.
But I want to hear what other people think.
IMDb time.
Yeah, I mean, right now, it's definitely going to go down, but it's got 7.6 on IMDb. What a load of dribble. This is by Andre Becker. I don't know what this is, but it ain't a movie worth watching. DC did great with Joker and Batman, and now this. Dribble! The storyline sucks.
That's it, dribble.
It's as if they just wanted to release another superhero movie and did not take the time and effort to even write a good storyline. The plot is stupid. Lex Luthor in cahoots with a foreign dictator for land. The characters are so stupid and rather belong is a poof.
Whoa!
Jeez!
Fucking hell!
Superman
All right,
movie.
Andre. I didn't realize it was like 2005.
Come to think of it,
hell.
maybe this is a spoof movie. A spoof movie or an movie. The capabilities of the characters are so far-fetched, it's not even believable. Yeah, this guy's like me, man. He just can't switch his analytical brain off. And Lois Lane flies with an alien craft with no train. Can this guy spell properly? And to make the plot one last massage can cause everyone to believe Superman is evil. Come on. Oh, wait, I just want to say as well, is that it did feel, and people were saying that it's because it's in the early stages of his hero career or whatever, is that he did need a hell of a lot of help in the movie, Superman. There were certain points where if it weren't for certain characters, saving his ass at the last bit, and it's like, I don't know what that says about his character. I guess that did kind of bugger me. There's just there are a hell of you've got to admit there are a lot of plot conveniences.
Oh, for sure. But I could get past them.
Yeah.
Because, like you said, and maybe it doesn't excuse every plot convenience, but this is a Superman. At the start of his career, he's young. Yeah. He's still figuring shit out. So I didn't mind that. Yeah. Personally. However, I mean I wish I remembered his name. When he's trapped in the the guy with outer world or whatever it's called. The pocket universe. And he's with the guy who can just melt Kryptonian. Yeah. And he was a bit of a Deus Ex Machina, just convenient that he's just so happens to have these powers where he can forge kryptonite out of his hand.
He helps him so much in that fucking movie.
And sorry, guys, that is a character who I do not remember from the comics, so give me shit in the comments. I don't know who he is. Sorry.
John P. Dawson. I'm a lifelong Superman fan and watched this train wreck of a movie trying and failing to keep an open mind. I was hoping for a bold, fresh take on an iconic hero, but what I got was a lazy, sloppy mess that spits in the face of everything Superman stands for. Jesus, big words. The CGI is embarrassingly bad. Okay, come on. The CGI is not bad in this movie. No. It's really not bad. I thought it was really impressive in some moments for a so-called blockbuster. Half the time it looks like cheap video game graphics from a decade ago. What is this guy talking about? Even worse, the storyline is so full of glaring plot holes and laughable twists that it's impossible to take seriously. I agree with that. The characters are paper thin. I sort of agree with that. The dialogue is cringy beyond belief, and there's not a shred of genuine emotion to hold it all together.
Bollocks. I think that's complete bollocks.
No, I agree. I don't think there's any genuine emotion in it.
Really? Well, what do you mean?
Well, it's just conveniences. It's just messing around with the same storylines. It's just slight alterations to the same thing. It's just a blockbuster designed to make money. I mean, that's just the way I see it. I'm sorry, Saul. I know it hurts your feelings. I do love.
I'm going to cry after that.
I do love James.
No, it's. Yeah.
I like what James Gunn is doing, but I feel like it's still between the directing and the editing room. He's had so many had to make so many changes, I think, or even just with the screenplay. It's very corporate mandated film. I feel like in creative control, I don't think it's felt to me like it was exactly what he would have wanted to do, because there are certain things that he was obliged to do. That's what it felt like to me.
No, but mind you say that, but he is the head of DC Studios.
He's a head of DC
Studios. No, he's the CEO of DC, well, the co-CEO of DC Studios. So this is all
well, he's definitely thinking in a certain way then.
I mean, look, that is the tough thing. Like, I do get that with these tentpole studio films. Sometimes it is hard, for a director's voice to really show, and there are only a select few who can do that.
It was so dull that I actually found myself wanting to stop watching it. It's like the filmmakers completely forgot that Superman was a symbol of hope and strength. Instead, they turned into a lifeless puppet surrounded by bargain bin effects.
Bargain bin.
I quite like that. Bargain bin effects. I honestly can't believe they're passing this off as a modern Superman film. I feel insulted, frustrated, and wishing I could get back to the precious time I wasted. Superman and his fans deserve infinitely better than this garbage. Yeah. I wouldn't agree with that with the same amount of anger. And I don't think he's giving it enough like credit personally. But I can see where he's coming from. I'm just being completely honest. I found it. This is just me speaking, not objective now, subjectively. I found it so fucking boring, honestly. Like, it's just a kids' movie, man. It's just full of stupid, goofy crap that I don't get how people can take it seriously. What is it? Can I ask you, like, personally, like, what is it exactly about these sorts of movies that attracts you to them? Is it the lore? Is it having read the comic books?
I think it's sometimes the lore. You know, okay, if I like the character,
having an investment in the character.
Yeah, you know, if it's a certain character that I'm invested in. But then also, I think it's the fact that I can enjoy both kinds of genres, or both both kinds of films.
Like movies
where you have to, you know, obviously use your brain.
Yeah.
Enjoy this. But then look, I can just enjoy a fun superhero film if it's done well.
Yeah.
But then also, I think it's the fact that this is James Gunn.
Right. Yeah.
So that's why I'm kind of like, I mean, maybe I'm being a bit biased because I'm a fan of his giving it a bit more grace.
Yeah.
But I think really that's why. Like, if there are like there's someone like him involved, then I will sort of, you know, I'm intrigued. Be a bit more intrigued.
So I feel like we were talking about it as well with Marvel and DC. I feel like you know, just particularly with Disney and, you know, Marvel and stuff like that, they're definitely having a bit of a period now where they're trying to get their shit together.
Oh no, without doubt,
because they had a terrible time.
They peaked with Endgame, and look, I will say this. I'd say now I follow DC a lot more than Marvel.
Right.
Back in the Endgame era, you know, like many other people around the world and in the film community, I was there.
Is it just kind of like after Endgame was such a peak?
Oh no, it was the biggest peak.
Right.
You know, 10 plus years, you know, such a big build up, you know, I mean, reading the history of cinema, there hadn't really been anything like that, you know, a universe so intricately connected. And then that was such a high, and I feel like after that, the success got to Marvel's head as well, and then with Disney Plus, they just started throwing shit at the wall and
ran it into the ground.
They really, they got a little carried away, and it's bit them in the arse.
Yeah.
And really, the only successes they've had since then, although some of the later films, like I'll say Guardians 3, because I mean that's more the prior investment beforehand, which I'll get to. Guardians 3 was good, Shang-Chi was all right, but most of the time, since Endgame, when a Marvel film has been successful, and this kind of leads into another topic, which is maybe indicative of a certain problem, is that the ones that have been successful since have very much relied on our nostalgia and you know, involvement in the past. Yeah. So the ones that have been the most successful are No Way Home, which I did like for what it was, and Deadpool and Wolverine, also liked for what it was. Right. But since then, in trying to establish anything new, Marvel haven't really done very well. Yeah. And they're struggling. They're trying to get their groove back.
That's the way
that's very much what's
I
happened.
see it as well, is that all these movies are just riding off of the investment that people previously had due to other better movies. And so it's just a little bit like, it's not, the quality isn't necessarily inherent to that one. See, I judge movies more individually, you know, their own separate quality, rather than just, you know, all the kind of, you know, previous stuff that's happened that is just what the studios are riding on, you know, people still showing up because they're still invested in stuff that they love from their childhood, or nostalgia and all that stuff, and having read the comic books. And so, you know, but when you judge a film like primarily for its, you know, merits alone, like its own separate qualities, that's, I feel like, when they start to break down a little bit. Like, but then you said that No Way Home and
well, look, No Way Home, if you really break it down, there's a fuck ton of issues.
Yeah.
It's, you know, it's not really that well shot. It's kind of bland looking.
Yeah.
But
it was just Andrew Garfield. And
but
come on.
If you really look at it as an event and think about what it sets out to do, and actually in the context of the other Spider-Man films and those actors, it's fun. It works for what it is.
Yeah,
for it kids. Really is, and it used nostalgia well, because I don't think nostalgia bait is inherently bad. And look, even for us, I feel like we all fall for it deep down.
Yeah.
a lot of us fall for it. You know, look, if you're invested in something and you really like it, and then they're like, oh, look, here's this character. You know, a part of me also enjoys that whilst realizing, yes, it is ever so slightly manipulative. Fucking hell. But I think it can be used well. And in No Way Home, it was.
Right.
Like, it actually related emotionally to the story, what Peter Parker was going through. And it was just fun seeing Bully Maguire back, Andrew Garfield.
Yeah.
It's fun seeing those actors. But No Way Home, look, it's an average film, but... it's a great event. So look, I can definitely look at those films, you know, from different like angles. So,
but you're like, just shut up, just fucking shut up and enjoy it, what it is. And I'm like, I envy you, Saul, man. I envy you.
No, this is a PSA. Use your brain when watching films. No, but sometimes like enjoy that, you know, something.
Like there are certain films that I can. But I see that. Maybe I'm too cynical. I just see the business. Commercial side of everything, you know, and that's how I judge things. And I can see the plot conveniences and the contrivances too much, and just cliche shit, man. Stuff that you've seen so many fucking times before, just again and again and again and again and again. So fucking boring, man, and exhausting.
God,
in my opinion,
you're going to anger all the comic book fans out there.
I'm jealous of the comic book fans. Like they can be, and they used to be. There was an era, like we said, you know, before Endgame, and especially with Endgame, they were events. You know, that's
the thing with the MCU. I mean, like even
must
some
have been
of the most
so exciting for
films
people.
within that genre. It still like felt like it was building up to something.
Yeah,
it meant something.
But there will never be a bigger event than Minions.
Then what?
You know, the Minions where people...
Oh, God, the bloody...
Showing up in suits.
Jesus, yeah.
See, that is a franchise I can be invested in.
That's it. Yes, because Despicable Me is a very deep and multi...
Yeah, it doesn't break down when you analyse it. It's fantastic in every sense.
No, the logic is airtight.